Okay students, so now I cleared the board for you so that we can move for the discussion of the next problem. Fine. One more important aspect that I would like to mention for your better understanding. In these problems, our aim is anyway not to provide you the solution of these problems. No. Once again, I would like to say, if even I am telling you 1,000 problems, but without approach, they are meaningless. But if you start learning how to move, how to solve, then it's going to be more beneficial. Reason being, at least for JEE Mains and JEE Advanced specifically, every question asked is going to be the part of the history. At any point of time, you will not find any type of repetition. Any type of repetition. Every time, new approach. So they required not mugging approach. They want fresh approach. Ultimately, you want to become an engineer. So is it like that every time, let's say you joined civil engineering, so it's not like going to be like that you are going to design the same bridge again and again on the same river. Fine. Next time maybe it's a hilly region river, next time it may be some other river. So your approach is important. Fine. So let's move for the next problem. Again, just start reading, take your pen. Imagine you are in the examination hall and your rough sheet is in front of you. Don't do anything with the OMR sheet. Please ensure that your OMR sheet is separately and protected. No mark, nothing like that, because any type of damage to the OMR sheet is ultimately going to hamper your chances. So be very careful with this OMR sheet. Fine. Now, 6 charges. The diagram is given in the problem. 6 charges, 3 positive, 3 negative of equal magnitude are to be placed at the vertices of a regular hexagon, fine, such that the electric field at center O is double the electric field only when one positive charge of same magnitude is placed at R. Question is simple, but they just trying to fold the story in such a complicated fashion that unless and until you are not reading the problem with fresh mind, with open mind, with cool and calm approach, you are not going to get the understanding. Fine. So let's try to understand. Which of the following arrangement of charge is possible for P, Q, R, S, T and U respectively? My approach is, I don't know what is this question, not clear to me. Fine. Let's move. Try to translate it. Now try to place 6 charges, 3 positive, 3 negative, but magnitude is equal. It is not given which is positive, which is negative. So ultimately, they are trying to give you a situation, fine, where you have to play with the combination positive, negative, positive, negative, so on, and that's where you have to find out the solution. 3 positive, 3 negative, 3 positive, 3 negative, 3 positive, 3 negative. Fine. You have to work on to permutation combination type of thing, which one is the correct option. But what exactly the rule which is going to help you out in this process? That is, which of the following arrangement of charges is possible for what? So that if you put only one charge at R, then the net electric field is going to be twice of the combined combination electric field. Fine. Now, who will come and help me out? The basic approach of for negative charge, field lines inward. For positive charge, field lines outward. Okay. Now listen carefully. 3 positive, 3 negative. If we arrange them, or I should say, we can surely arrange them in a fashion when a net electric field is going to be 0. Why? Positive, 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 negative, negative, negative. Fine. So equal combination, equal magnitude? Yes, definitely a situation possible. So we have to start from this approach that, let's say, a positive charge over here, a negative charge over here. A positive charge over here, negative charge, positive and negative. So let's start finding the solution with this fundamental approach. Fine. So over here I am going to find the solution. One by one I will explain you. Let's say E due to P and S. See, what are the possibilities? I simply started thinking that let's pick the charges and placed oppositely. Positive, positive. Let's say for example, negative, negative. Let's say for example, positive, negative, something like that. So it's better to face place them like this. Fine. So the solution is going to be like this. That is E means electric field. I am simply using this symbol. Fine. So E due to, you just listen my words. Fine. I am writing a line, and also don't forget to take a look of this diagram. That's why I am trying to explain close to the question, so that diagram is every time visible to all of you. Now E due to P and S means this point and this point. So E due to P and S, comma, due to, listen properly, due to Q and T. Q, T, opposite points. Fine. Let me help you out. This way, and then this blue color chalk this way. Fine. If I am saying E due to P and S and due to Q and T, add to 0. Add to 0. Fine. But now how to add to 0? Plus, minus, plus, minus, cancel, cancel. Now possibility is plus and minus. But E due to E, I am using the vector sign just to show you that this is symbolic representation of the direction with magnitude of the electric field. E due to U and R, sorry, U, fine, that was not looking like U, due to U and R added up. Added up. It means if they are going to cancel each other, a question can come in your mind, then why they are not cancelling each other? The teacher is saying that they are going to add up. Just wait. Fine. So accept this line. Fine. Actually, what exactly we are trying to do? Ultimately, we have to start from somewhere. And it's not like that I will keep on playing with this particular problem for the long time. Obviously, I'll have to finish this problem in 3 minutes or so. So let's start this approach, that opposite diagonal. Whatever I mentioned over here, P and S, you may also say that rather than P and S, you may say U and R, it's your choice. Rather than Q and T, you may simply say P and S, it's up to you. I just started with this simple approach. Fine. So from here, if we try to check it, then the best option is two positive charges close to each other. No, 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 no. Two negative charges close to each other. No, not possible. And then this positive negative charges, but what I am doing? I am cancelling these charges. So ultimately the combination is going to be plus minus, plus minus, plus minus, because you can say, sir, over here it is also like this. No, not at all. Reason being, when I'll start putting the values, then ultimately either P or S or Q or T or U or R, somewhere I have to start with the positive or negative charge. So let's start this negative positive charge. If you start putting like this, at this point the addition is not going to be possible. Now I will explain further with the help of 1 or 2 diagrams, but specifically I would like to mention something about these type of problems. After few simple questions, these type of problems, just to create some problems for your thinking, after reading twice or thrice, my simple honest suggestion, if you are unable to visualize, better to move, because wrong attempt of the problem will steal your -1 marks. Out of 10, 7 attempted, 7 all correct, fine. But out of 10, the attempted problem is less than in numbers and it is going to be like some negative aspect, don't attempt it, fine. Now for further understanding, with the help of a diagram, let's say one aspect I will explain, that is Q component, just to give you better understanding, otherwise nothing is required over here in this problem, fine. There is one video in which I mentioned how you can score minimum 100 marks. So if out of 30 you are only attempting roughly 23-24 questions, you are bound to score good marks. So never ever, again I would like to repeat the same thing, never ever try to attempt 29-30 questions, 22 correct, 6-7 incorrect, please avoid, fine. So Q component of forces, just for your reference I am writing, Q component of forces along y axis. This is something that you can do on rough, x, y. So Q component of forces along y axis will vanish net force, fine, net capital N I am using means total force, net force along negative y axis, fine. So I think this way, if you start thinking in such type of problems, you may definitely score correct option, fine. But if you are finding any problem very difficult, don't waste time on that. Ultimately, first ensure not to score 360 out of 360. First ensure that at least you are scoring out of 360 around 295 to 90, something like that. So a better range, fine. After that, it's your choice to go ahead. Now let's say this next problem. Now this problem I picked specifically because sometimes it's quite difficult for students to visualize these type of questions. So let's try to understand. 3 concentric metallic spherical cells of radius r, 2r and 3r. So again, your examination hall, your pen and rough sheet. Let's start. 1, 2, and this is something that you are drawing on rough, and this is 3, fine. So white, let's say r, fine. Yellow, let's say 2r, and don't do the mistake, center point is common, it is given concentric, so center is going to be common, and finally it's going to be 3r, fine. R, 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 clear? Okay. Given charges Q1, Q2, Q3, okay, with white Q1, with yellow Q2, with blue Q3. It is found that surface charge densities, moment this terms, surface charge densities, then this person should come in your mind, fine. And what is the relation? And that's why I devoted good amount of time during the regular lectures. On the outer surfaces of the cells are equal, means surface charge density is equal. My dear students, if surface charge density is equal but charges are different and this one is different, something is happening which is ensuring that surface charge density should remain fixed, remain constant, fine. And what exactly that we will try to find out. On the outer surface of the cells are equal, then find the ratio of the charges. So itself in the question they are saying, okay, you have to find the ratio in the charges. Ultimately only then you can say that this neta is going to be equal for each and every relation. Fine. So now this rough diagram is in front of you and this point is also in front of you. Let's allow me to erase it out and try to solve this problem for your better understanding. So ultimately, before solving, no need to take the look of these options. Fine. So what exactly is going to be the solution? Q1 is equal to, Q1 means for this small radius spherical shell. So Q1 is equal to surface charge density into 4 pi r square, basic formula. During the discussion of Gauss law, we devoted so much time. Fine. Now this is also equal to, what I'll say, equal. What is the meaning of this? The next expression I am going to write down is also equal to what? That is going to be also equal to this value for this Q2. This is also going to be equal to which value? Q3. Fine. So this is something which is common for Q2 and ultimately it is also common for Q3. These type of shortcut steps ensure lot of time saving. Fine. So rather than writing down all these terms, now simply I can say it means Q2 is equal to 16 pi this charge density, and over here the purpose has been solved, 16 pi r square minus Q1. Why? Okay. 1, 2, 3. Fine. This is one radius, this is second radius, this is third radius. So if I am trying to say that the surface charge density on this is equal to surface charge density on this, then very clearly it's visible to me that surface area for both these is not same. So ultimately, if we want to talk in terms of charges, we have to do something with the surface area. Fine. So that's why I'm saying obviously surface area of Q2 is more. Yes. So that's why surface area of this Q2 surface charge density, and if we subtract this Q1, obviously we are going to get the exact value for this. Similarly, I can write down Q3 is equal to 36 pi, fine, into sigma into r square. Okay, yes, in terms of over here 36 pi sigma r square minus this 16 pi sigma r square, fine, minus 16 pi sigma r square. This time please take a look of this bigger one. Obviously it's more comparatively to this, so bigger minus smaller. So ultimately it is going to give you 20 pi r square. Fine. So now what I can say? I can say simply a trivial approach, very basic approach, Q1 ratio Q2 ratio Q3. What you have to do? All the values are given to you. The Q1 value earlier I mentioned, Q2 value I mentioned over here. Put the value of Q1 from the basic formula over here. You will get the final value of this Q2. Just to prove my point, over here I solved. Otherwise there is mere wastage of time if I will solve each and every term. So it is going to be 1, 3, 5. Fine. What was the Q1 value? 4. So subtract 16 minus 4, that will give you 12. Then this is 16, this is 20. So I'll simply get 1 ratio 3 ratio 5. So correct option is going to be your B is the correct option. Fine. No question is as such difficult, but yes, this is the beauty of these questions, that in a single question they check so many things of your approach. So please try to learn in totality. Never ever learn in shortcuts. Fine. If you are learning a problem while you are studying the topic, try to expand your basic approach. That's why in one of the problem I also mentioned simple periodic motion, then I mentioned simple harmonic motion, although it was never ever asked in the problem. But while learning, if you are approaching this way, it's going to expand your thinking. Fine. Now here comes the next problem, and this problem I'm sure few of you will really find it very very simple, and few of you who are not regular with our regular shoot or the regular topic theoretical videos, they will find it slightly difficult. Why? I will mention that point. Consider the situation. Consider the charge configuration. Charge configuration is what? Positive Q1 charge, negative Q1 charge, and they are confined within a spherical zone, and then there is a charge Q2. Fine. Over here what is the beauty? Beauty is the magnitude of both the charges same, but sign is opposite. Now what you should differently think about this combination? Is it possible for you to create a dipole? Of course, why not? Because two charges equal in magnitude, opposite in sign, separated by a distance. Then while studying in home, then simply just quickly revise the formula. Okay, dipole of electric dipole moment P is equal to Q into distance. So this way if you are learning, so in just one problem at least 3-4 concepts you are revising. Fine. Come on to the problem. Consider the charge configuration and a spherical Gaussian surface. Fine. The question is going to be very simple moment they mention the term Gaussian surface. As shown in the figure, the Gaussian surface is so simple, spherical surface. So area is going to be 4 pi r square. When calculating the flux of the electric field over the spherical surface, the electric field will be due to which one? Either due to Q2, either due to Q1, either due to minus Q1, due to which the net electric field is going to be. And see the beauty of the options, either due to Q2, only due to the positive charges. So which one is positive charges? Rather than saying plus Q1 and Q2, because here no sign is mentioned, so you have to consider it also as a positive charge. So because of this, all the charges, okay, plus Q1 minus Q1. See, about D, a point may come in your mind. This is outward field direction, this is inward field direction. Is it possible for them to cancel out? No, not exactly cancel out, because it depends upon the point at which you want to calculate the value. Fine. So let's move ahead to find the solution of this problem. Let's first try to find out which one is not possible at all. So if I am saying this is not possible at all, so all those students who are regularly watching our videos, they will say yes, absolutely, it's a very simple point. But all those who are not regular, for them it's going to be difficult aspect. But if you try to recall, the second question was associated with this type of situation. Only this charge? No. Why? Because what is the basic statement of Gaussian law? The basic statement of Gaussian law is total enclosed charges. Let me write down the formula. That was phi E is equal to Q enclosed upon epsilon naught. So when Q2 is not enclosed, so Mr. Q2 are totally meaningless for us. Okay, let's move ahead. I am going to provide at least some in-depth solution of this. At any point on spherical charge distribution, on spherical charge distribution, ultimately if you just take a look of the options, you simply say you have to only work out for B or C, and all students who are regular with our videos, they simply say, sir, there is no point of solving this problem, it is going to be the correct answer. But then again, A problem will come for other students. They say, then sir, why we are considering Q2 also? So for all of those students, I am writing this statement. At any point of on spherical charge distribution, better Gaussian surface, Gaussian. And if anyone is feeling this solution slightly difficult, my humble request, my honest request to all those students, please revise the Gauss law video. Fine. Gaussian surface, net electric field, rather than writing that long sentence, I simply mentioning the term, is the vector sum, fine. This point I was not supposed to write down because that is so simple. Fine, you have the better understanding of vector addition multiplication, but just to give you the you can say a feeling what exactly we are doing, that's why I mentioned this term. Fine. Net electric field is the vector sum of all electric fields, that is due to plus Q1, due to minus Q1 and due to charge Q2. So the correct answer is only the positive charges. No, for all the charges. Fine, because for this charge you may also create a Gaussian surface, and that's why I mentioned at any point on a spherical charge distribution, that is Gaussian surface, net electric field is the vector sum of all electric fields. Fine. So what I should say, don't get confused in this explanation with the electric flux which is 0. Don't get confused with the electric flux. Fine. Question is simple, but yes, Gauss law understanding is required, and if you try to recall, then during the regular classes discussion, I devoted very good amount of time on Gaussian surface and almost all possible combinations I picked. Fine. So now let's move ahead. Here comes this question. Consider a neutral conducting sphere. Okay, actually this is somehow a solid spherical arrangement, but just because of the limitations of this presentation, we are unable to show that solid part. So you have to assume. Fine. A positive point charge is placed outside the sphere. The net charge on the sphere is how much? I hope the question is clear. Initially, neutral conducting sphere, it means this conducting means this sphere is made up of iron, copper, silver, gold, whatever like that. Fine. So if you place a positive point charge outside the sphere, the net charge on the sphere, the very first thing that definitely comes in the minds of the students, let's say, just for the sake of imagination, let's say this is this positive charge conducting neutral sphere, and if I am placing this chalk holder with some positive charge over here somewhere, what will happen? Induction. Fine. So because of that, all negative charges will come closer to this surface, positive charges repelled out. So you can say a sort of electric field stabilization will happen. Fine. So let's start the discussion with this situation. Fine. And over here, at any point of time, we are not devoting the time onto the calculation aspect. First line, charges will be induced on this surface, the way I explained using my hand example. So that is something which is quite essential for you, quite easy for you to understand. So let me write down, charge will be induced in the conducting sphere. Fine. But net charge on it is 0. I think one more time I should explain it. Forget this is fair. Consider this beautiful object. Fine, it's a duster with which I am cleaning your green board. It's made up of gold. Assume that, best conductor. Then I have this positive charge. Bring it close to this. So this end, all electrons, it's a conducting material object. So all electrons will come closer to this end. Fine. Positive charges this way. Negative, positive. Accumulation. But is it like that some charge has been added to this object? No, not at all, because moment I will remove this chalk holder, it is again going to be neutral. So all these options you need not to even read others, simply say. But if it is not conducting, then situation is going to be different. So many times in attempting these type of competitive exam problems, if your approach is fundamental, is basic, directly your eyes will jump onto the correct option. Imagine the situation. This was something which we learned in the initial phases of this chapter, charging by induction method without touching the object. Moment I will touch this object over here, some charge will transfer. But if I am putting it close to like this, fine, it's going to be like this only. And out of all these problems, one thing is quite sure, as such no problem is horrible. Even JEE advanced problems are very beautiful problems. Fine, at appropriate time we will discuss that. This question is again no pen pencil, just read and think. Elliptical cavity is carved within a perfect conductor. Actually students, in CBSE course curricula, perfect conductor as such not mentioned. But if you are preparing for competitive exams, which is a rejection process, then obviously you should know something. And during the discussion of magnetic material, at that point of time I explained this perfect conductor, superconductors and all these aspects. Fine. A positive charge Q is placed at the center over here, and assume this entire portion is solid of the cavity. This is a cavity, other portion is solid. The points A and B are the cavity surface, exactly at the cavity surface. Moment this point A move over here or point B move over here, it is going to land in the solid part. Then out of which one is going to be the correct option? Now let's start reading the options. Electric field near A in the cavity is equal to electric field near B in the cavity. Why? There is no aspect electric field near A in the cavity. The electric field is ultimately going to do because of this charge. Fine. So this option is not correct one. Charge density at A is going to charge density at B. No, this is other way correct, but the way it is given over here, it is not correct. Fine. So students, as usually I explained this problem and the correct solution is D. So now we are going to move on to the next problem. And in this problem, my simple suggestion is read the problem carefully. And about perfect conductor, if anyone has any confusion, then try to take a look of my videos which I mentioned during the discussion of magnetic material. There I discussed perfect conductors, superconductors, diamagnetic material and so on and so forth. Fine. So let's start reading. There is a elliptical cavity is carved within a perfect conductor. Actually, this entire portion is solid portion. Fine. And this one is the cavity. So a positive charge Q is placed at the center of this cavity. Fine. Actually this is not, it's like that this ellipse is what? But it's a great circle. So the center is obviously going to be at this point. The points A and B are on the cavity surface as shown in the diagram. And with this assumption, please don't forget that this is a solid portion. Now you have to find out the correct option. Simply I would like to suggest, if you read the options properly, you will say no need of putting or saying pen or paper. Fine, let's start. electric field near A in cavity is equal to electric field near B in cavity. If you are unable to understand anything, then apply the simple logic. This distance from here and this distance from here is not equal. So simply say because of that reason it's not equal. Otherwise, if you are able to think it out, then you can say it is going to be same within this cavity but not outside of the cavity. Fine, but this is an intelligent approach. If it is not possible for you to think in that higher term, then simply say, okay, for this ellipse, this distance and this distance, okay, this distance is not equal, is directly proportional to 1 upon r square. So there is nothing like going to be equal. Fine, come on to this. Charge density at A is equal to charge density at B. No, again it's a perfect conductor. So this assumption is true for non-conducting. Fine, but not for the perfect conductor. That is a simple fact that I am sure you must have learned during the discussion of the magnetism. Potential at A is not equal to potential at B, which is correct if this not equal there. Potential is same, but over here it is given not equal to. So this option is again incorrect option. Only total electric field flux through the surface of this is going to be equal. Yes. Why? Now imagine the situation. Let's use different color chalk. It is placed at the center, exactly at center, and if it is a positive charge as it is mentioned in the question itself, it means all outward. So they are going to be equal. So total electric field flux through the through the surface, and how much it is going to be? Very simple result. Q enclosed upon epsilon naught, the famous formula, simple formula given by Gauss. So with this, I would like to suggest and request all of you, don't try to solve this question, but think the approach which I explained and I am also explaining. Try to correlate this approach with your regular theory classes. You will find, yes, we are moving in a specific direction. Your aim should be crack the exam, and for that systematic approach is at most important. So without wasting your any time, I would like to say thanks to all of you for watching this video. Hope you will follow whatever I suggested as a suggestion by your friend. Fine. So once again, thanks a lot. Take care of yourself.